like this.
Yep, that's
You're
beautiful.
beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah, have we started or?
Oh, yeah, we started.
On.
But what's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are back at the beautiful St. Vitus basement, and today we return with the Australian grindcore masters, King Parrot. We are here with Mr. Wyatt this time.
Hello, how are we?
It's great to have you here. The last time we had slats every day in the beautiful bathroom, and I mean, here in the St. Vitus basement, it's not even much of an upgrade.
Well, no, not really.
Yeah.
I heard a lot about this interview, this notorious interview in the Dunny.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great. We talked about everything from Australia to celebrities who were dead but weren't actually. You know, Slats actually made me believe that Elton John was dead.
Fuck, I hope not.
Yeah, no, I was scared.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually saw Elton John about 3 years ago, and it was probably still the greatest show I've ever seen.
Yeah. Words of wisdom from Lemmy: if you think you're too old to rock and roll, then that means you are.
Check out Elton John.
Exactly. And I'll tell you this, though, that toilet that we did that interview on is still cleaner than the couch in this basement.
I don't doubt that for a second. Yeah.
But it's so awesome to have you guys back. Ugly Produce is still the latest record, and when we interviewed Slats back in the day, it was still kind of fresh on the Devil Drivers Super Joint show, and now that it's been out for a while, how has the reception for the record been and everything?
It's been great. You're right. It has been a bit of a break between. We've done a lot of road work, I guess.
Yeah.
On it, but still really good. I mean, we're kind of playing the same fucking set every night, but it could be worse.
Exactly.
Yeah, the reception has been good though.
Yeah, definitely. Now, because at that time I was still kind of getting to know you guys.
Mm-hmm.
After listening to you guys and processing the record, it's a straight up grindcore record. Anybody who loves Napalm Death or Pig Destroyer is definitely gonna enjoy this. And being that this record is only 27 minutes long.
Yeah, you probably know better than I do. But it's not long, that's for sure.
Yeah. So how did you guys know when this record was done? Was there like a spur of the moment thing, or?
You mean writing wise?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was just the songs felt right. You know, it's funny you mentioned that. It's probably my favourite to this point. I think they're fucking strong songs. Fuller, who we did this with at Goat Sound Studios back home, he's got a really good ear for it, and he just sort of like, I think these are good fucking tunes. Like, let's just fucking run with that. Yeah.
I mean, it's grindcore, so there's really not too much we got to make a 7.5 minute song with this deep meaning.
Well, funnily enough, when it came to our first record, Bite Your Head Off, that came in at like 22 minutes or something, or maybe even shorter. Anyway, we were told that it actually has to be a bit longer than 26 minutes, so we ended up, I don't know if I'm meant to be saying this, but we put a couple of the songs from our original EP on, which were all written at the same time, but to extend it, to make it officially an
album.
a releasable release. I don't know if I'm meant to say this. Might check that out before and edit.
Nah. I keep this as organic as possible.
We're just a grind band from Collingwood at the end of the day, so
exactly.
I don't really give a fuck anyway.
But as I was talking about, and as somebody who's seen you live before, I saw a lot of hardcore inspiration. Like, I know that some of you guys are Agnostic Front fans, and definitely, like, from seeing you guys play on stage, you definitely have that hardcore vibe. Does King Parrot take multiple inspirations for their music?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said before, Elton John's was probably my biggest inspiration for the riff writing in this latest album.
Really?
Absolutely. It's I think heavy metal should just be relentless intensity, aggressive and relentless, and that's what I think we try and put across live. You know,
the record's definitely like that.
Yeah.
Now, being that I believe Ugly Produce is about the 4th King Parrot record. At this point, do you guys tend to stick with a similar grindcore formula and sort of stick with a similar approach, or has the making of every record been its own experience?
They've definitely all been their own experiences, but I don't know that there's ever been a boundary sort of put on the style. I think it just sort of comes across. Oh well, I don't even really know how it comes across. It just sort of pours out, but I guess the feedback sort of speaks for itself, and that is how it comes across. But there's never really been oh shit, we got to do this or we got to do that. You know, it's in fact we just late last year we demoed a few songs, and they've turned out a whole lot different. And we actually tried a few different things where we all had individual input into this one particular song, as in separate from the guitar point of view anyway, separate parts completely, and that turned out a fucking ripper actually. So who knows, mate? The next one might be a different venture altogether. We'll find out. I guess.
You might go from like a 27-minute record to like a 2-hour and 27-minute record and be one of those prog bands.
Couple of instrumentals, you know, couple of bass solos. Who knows?
Can't imagine. Now, as somebody who has seen you guys before and hung out with you guys, I mean, you guys are some of the funniest individuals I've ever met in your life. But is there ever kind of like a serious moment in making music at all? Or
fuck, from my perspective, absolutely. I think we definitely. I do believe if you can't take the piss out of yourself, then you're probably better off fucking dead. But I'm not telling anyone to fucking top themselves or anything. But we definitely, I don't think. I take it extremely seriously. I don't think everything should be taken to that extremity though all the time. Otherwise, it ends up pretty fucking depressing.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys have the perfect balance. Like, your music is very impressive on a technical level as well, but you still have fun with what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope that, I mean, we certainly do hanging out with each other, and hanging out of each other. But I hope that comes across live. From the feedback I've had and the footage I've seen, it certainly feels that way. It definitely feels that way on stage, so... Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Now, the last time I saw you guys, as I mentioned, you were playing with Superjoint as well as Devil Driver, but now you're playing with Phil Anselmo and the Illegals, and, being that Phil Anselmo has some of the most diehard fans, do you notice maybe a similar audience on this tour as opposed to that tour?
Definitely. I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, Philip's fans are an extremely dedicated bunch, and they seem to attend, the tours I've seen, even from... going all the way back to when we toured with Down, we're still seeing the same faces, and they travel, and it's a very similar crowd. Maybe a few more Cannibal Corpse T-shirts or something, But it's all very similar, yeah.
I feel like, you mentioned you go from Down to Superjoint. It seems like you can play with many different bands, like a Cannibal Corpse, but, you're playing with... I've always considered the Illegals to have that real down and dirty rock and roll vibe to them as well.
Oh, the Illegals is fucking bordering on fucking, grindy death metal, I suppose, Really? A lot of the... from what I've sort of witnessed on this tour, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we've always made a point, especially back home, when we have the choice of who we play with. I believe a mixed grill is the way to go. And we've also, like we were talking about before, just the number of different influences that we have, it's why not? And also going back to the fact that if music's extreme, it's fucking heavy, if it's if the energy's right, it's heavy. So I can't see an issue with playing with fucking anyone and everyone. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Now, when I've noticed with grindcore shows, whether I've been seeing bands like you guys or Full of Hell or Pig Destroyer, it seems that it's not just even about the music itself, it's the live presence as well. People go absolutely nuts as your show. Do you guys have... is it a completely different experience playing these songs live versus like in the studio or a practice space?
When we started off jamming, the jam room used to get pretty fucking rowdy, pretty messy. But I think, that's certainly sort of chilled out a bit. But we always made a point of, crowd interaction. And it took a little while. But then once the first cunt stage dives, it incites other people to join in,
Yeah.
And we're certainly not shy of that. We invite people on stage. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's going to happen tonight. I mean, there's no barrier tonight.
It's a good fucking time.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that Napalm Death was playing with Slayer and like playing at these big arenas, I was just like, is that going to be a full grindcore show? Because you jump on the stage at a big venue like that, you might end up in Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah. Or on the edge of the fucking rail, yeah. Which might land you in the dentist, I guess. It's... man, there's nothing better than playing these sort of shows. The first show of this tour, in fact, was at Santos Bar in... New Orleans. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah.
And that was very similar to this. No barrier. The stage was maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet off the floor. And it was tight and gritty. It was cool. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. My favourite vibe. no doubt. Yeah.
Awesome. And the final question I wanted to ask you is, I actually asked Slats this last time as well, but Australia, I've been calling now lately Australia the Pacific Sweden, because there's so many metal bands. There's you guys, there's Neil Bliviscaris, Parkway Drive, Thy Art is Murder, so like...
Oh, keep them coming, mate. Yeah.
AC/DC,
Yeah.
you might have heard of them.
The Kill.
But is there like, because I know like geographically, like all the cities are like at the perimeter of Australia, and then like in the middle there's really like the Ayers Rock, and that's it.
Yeah.
So is there like a scene that you guys cut your teeth in your hometown, or did King Parrot's name didn't really get well known until like you kind of went outside?
Oh no, we definitely cut our teeth back home. The whole where we sort of grew up around the Collingwood Fitzroy area, which is just outside the CBD, or the downtown area of Melbourne, is an extremely prolific art district, I guess. It's the number of bands that come out of there, and I'm not just talking about heavy metal, like anything from folk music to hardcore punk, crust sort of stuff. There's a shitload of fucking good bands coming out of there, and all around the country. But Melbourne's always been a bit of an art sort of hub.
Okay.
I reckon, yeah, and man, there's some fucking killer bands getting around at the moment. Yeah, the Kill, who I just mentioned, unfortunately only just recently disbanded.
Oh.
They're a part of this. It was called the Melbourne Grind Syndicate. Bands like Fuck I'm Dead and Christ Crusher. You name. Yeah, there's some fucking seriously fucking brutal bands.
So there was even a scene dedicated to just your genre as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've sort of taken bits and pieces out of a lot of different things where we enjoy, but there's a fucking furious grind scene, man. Yeah, totally.
Awesome. I wonder what it is about Australia.
I don't know, fucking shit that kills you, and beer and speed, and it's the good things in life, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time.
My absolute pleasure.
Yeah. You're doing this tour right now with Phil Anselmo and the Illegals. Ugly Produce is now over a year old. Can we be expecting any new music or any new touring that you're allowed to talk about?
We're going to be recording real fucking soon. We're just in the process of in the writing process at the moment. At the end of this run, we'll be demoing a few more tracks, and I reckon, I'm hoping early next year we'll be back in the studio. Yeah, tours. I'm not 100% sure. Better off speaking to Youngie about that.
Okay.
I just write the music.
Are you expecting to make like a direct follow up to Ugly Produce from what you were hearing, or are you gonna maybe also take a new approach with this?
Style wise.
Yeah.
Fucking who knows? Yeah, who knows? I mean, it'll be, it's not going to be Billy Joel or anything, like it'll be fucking heavy, it'll be aggressive and all that sort of. It'll be King Parrot.
If you do a Billy Joel cover in your style, I'll buy the record twice.
Well, funnily enough, I actually wanted to do an EP. Just we each get to pick a song, but that'd be interesting. Hopefully that can happen. I don't know. We'll see.
That sounds awesome, but I could see total tension happening.
Oh, fucking oath, mate. Yeah. Fuck, someone would pick a Slipknot fucking song or something. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I love Slipknot.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. Everybody, we are here with Mr. Wyatt. Pick up Ugly Produce if you haven't already. Catch him on tour with Phil Anselmo and the Illegals. I'm going to keep talking to see how long you could hold your hand up.
I'll fucking hold that up all fucking day.
This is Alex from Heavy New York. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.